Hello, there you go. Now you can hear me. That was weird. OBS decided to shit itself a little bit there. Hope you're all good. Have you missed us? I've missed you, Hugh. Hugh. I've missed you.
I know,
Hugh.
man. It feels like ages. It feels like ages. A lot's happened as well in the last 4 days. You go away for 4 days, you don't make content. The world falls in on top of you.
Oh
and
yeah,
everyone goes
yeah.
crazy.
Everyone shits itself. Like everything just goes off. People going sick at us. Lauren's calling us part timers. I mean, what's going on, man?
I get your frustration, guys, and I appreciate it. I know it's all love. It's just because you want more content, but
you just
we're
because
here.
you want to see more of us, innit?
Yeah. You can admit it. You love us. You can admit it.
Yeah, you're allowed to say it, you know. You're allowed to say it. We get it. You swipe right on me and Hugh, yeah? We get it. Is it right? Is that the right way? I don't know, innit?
Yeah, you swipe right if they're paying.
Yeah, and we're paying it. We definitely got the right swipe. Yeah, buzzing. We are back. Content will be flowing again. Big up Rio. At the start of it says with 698 says, "Yo, what happened while I was in a live stream yesterday? I was busy yesterday, so we couldn't do one. And but we will be back ready ahead of Burnley. And yeah, there'll be content throughout the week as well. Obviously, everyone's starving for that transfer news. Everyone's starving for the content in it, especially after losing to Arsenal yesterday. What did you make of the game yesterday?
Yeah, I did a review on my own channel. Big up to all of you who came over to my channel while I was trying to keep stuff going on over there. City Extra, we were doing some renovating. You know what I mean? We were doing some graphics.
Yes.
We were getting the place nice and set up for a big season. So
yeah,
man, got to get prepped. You know what I mean? We have to do our own little preseason. So I hope you understand that. But yeah, I did my own review over there. So big up to all of you that have been showing love on my channel. But I wasn't arsed. Like I'm not bothered about the loss, and I would be consistent even if we were to win it next year. I'd say the exact same thing. I don't care about the Community Shield. I was expecting a game like the traditional City Liverpool games over the years. I thought with all the signings Arsenal have made, all the money they've made, that they'd say, right, let's go toe to toe with City. Let's go punch for punch with City and see who comes out on top. But I don't think they did. They sat back, put 11 men behind the ball for huge amounts of the game. Yeah, they were happy to soak up pressure. It was almost Man United-esque. You know, you set up and you play for a counter-attack. And they were causing us troubles in the counter-attack at times. I think it's fair to say Akanji got roasted once or twice.
Yeah, he did.
It just wasn't the approach I was expecting from Arsenal. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They will find gears. I believe they will go up gears as the weeks go on into the season, and so will we. But I was actually pleasantly surprised in a way about where we're at. Because usually we start off the season so slow and we're pretty appalling for the first few weeks. But there were some positives. You know, Kovacic I thought was absolutely sick in the midfield. I think Kovacic, he should get his praise. We need to have a conversation about Cole Palmer. I thought Foden looked decent. You know, mixed bag, man. Mixed bag. I didn't lose sleep last night, but, you know, the Arsenal fans must still be partying because, you know, they won a final and that.
Yeah, Denver developer, by the way, for people who don't know. You should check out his channel. He's an Arsenal fan. He's one of my mates, and he messaged me saying, he literally messaged me about 10 minutes after the game saying, "Shieldless, bruv." Then I was like, we've been shieldless for 3 years, mate. Like, we don't win these shields. The Community Shield just ain't our thing, man. And I think I seen in like recent history, the last two sides to win the Community Shield was City in 2019, and then it was United in 2008. Like, the people who win the Premier League, like, don't usually win the Community Shield. That's just the way it is.
Did you see Pep's post-match press conference when they were like, they're trying to poke him? They were like, yeah, you've not won any of the last 3 Community Shields. And he's like, yeah, we won the Premier League. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah, that's it. We're winning the Premier League, innit? So that's it. I'm fine. You know what I mean? You can have your Community Shield if we keep winning these Prems. Like, we've done back-to-back losses the Community Shield, but we've also done back-to-back Premier League titles, and I'll take the Premier League titles over the Community Shield every day. But yeah, it was... I liked the game. I just think we lacked a bit of creativity. That's where I was seeing the issue, and I was like, how do we fix this? Kovacic, like you said, looked mint. He looked like he fits in rapid. I like how fast he is on turning out, like press resistant and that. I was buzzing with that. However, it was just we had a lot of the ball, didn't really create much. So it was a bit of a... And then when we can see... I was buzzing. Obviously, the Cole Palmer goal was sick. And then I was thinking you're going to win the game. They've got this new added time. So we had, 10 minutes, then they scored. And... yeah, it was just a little bit like shit goal for them. and then the penalties were arse as well. But like I say, not anything to really be losing sleep over the Community Shield. Like, fair play to Arsenal, but they were there by default anyway. The salty City fans is inside it.
You don't get invited to a final. You can't call it a final when you're invited. You know what I mean? Like, we sent you an RSVP and you said yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
yeah. We invited you to play us, really, innit? Like,
it was
said
our game.
RSVP and you said yes. That's funny, that.
But the creativity thing was definitely the issue. I mean, we controlled and dictated the flow of play for large parts of the game, but we were lacking that creative spark. I mean, the absence of Kevin De Bruyne in the first half was so noticeable. And I've said this to you on this channel so many times that Julian Alvarez in the 10, it doesn't suit him. He's a lost dog there for now. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he can't grow into it and develop into it, but if you want to be creative now, Alvarez isn't that guy. He needs to be playing up front, right in front of goal, Fox in the box, getting his goals in his natural habitat. And then you brought on De Bruyne and things got a bit better. We brought on Phil Foden and things got a bit better. So I wasn't expecting us to perform at the levels we did against like Bayern Munich and Real Madrid yesterday. I was expecting some teething issues, rusty and that kind of thing. So it's chill, man. It's so chill. I'd expect us to go up a gear a little bit against Burnley on Friday. And you know what? The thing is, we can be calm in these situations. We're not emotionally charged. We don't start panicking. We don't start throwing our toys out of the pram because we're not happy with what we've seen in the beginning of August. We know, and we can kind of bank on finding our gears at the right time, clicking at the right time. So you know what I mean, man? Enjoy your final, Arsenal. Enjoy your trophy in that, because I said this on Twitter yesterday. I was like, we've been here before and we know how this story ends. We'll see you in May.
Yeah,
relaxed.
Exactly. I don't think there's anything to worry about too much. Someone in the chat before, I think Lewis Gillies in the chat a minute ago, said about added time. Have you got any thoughts on the new added time structure? It's very weird.
It is weird. I get it. I do get the
they're trying to get a full 90 minutes of footballing, aren't they? Like, so then they're trying to be very, very on the point. But it got to a point that where the commentators didn't know and we didn't know how long was even left. I mean, you had your 8 minutes and then you're like, well, how long does this go on for now? Like,
that's it, man. I get the premise of what they're trying to do. They're trying to eradicate time wasting. And first of all, I don't know where they got. Was it 8 minutes in the second half?
8 minutes. Yeah, I didn't see 8 minutes of time out. But then obviously there was the concussion.
But the concussion what happened like 4 minutes into the 8.
Oh, was it?
So I don't know where they got the original 8 from. The concussion happened in injury time. So I don't know where they got the 8 from. Like, there wasn't that much.
It did seem heavy. I didn't think it'd be 8.
Nah, but like you said there, like the ITV commentator referenced it. He was like, I actually don't know how long is left.
Yeah, he had no idea, innit? Just like, your guess is as good as mine situation.
I mean, I get it, but I just feel there's definitely going to be an issue for fans here. And I'm just thinking of the match-going fans in this, because if you're planning for a game and you're saying, right, I should be out of the stadium by this time so I can get X tram or I can get X bus, and this is how I get home. This is throwing a spanner in the works for that. If you're now having to start adding another 10, 15 minutes onto that, and then knockout games, there'll be penalty shootouts, maybe extra time, you could be there all fucking night. So I don't know, they have to refine it.
Yeah, I think and a good idea is putting a poll in the chat. Do you like the new added time? So I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. You get your votes in on that, whether you like the new added time or not. It's a good way to see where people are at with this. Big up to Quandi with a 9-month membership. Yes, he says every big game last season I watched City Extra in the background and we won. And he put the crying, sweating emoji thing and said, yesterday I checked and you weren't there. I knew we were gonna lose. Oh, sorry, Quandi, mate. You made me feel bad now, innit? You know what I mean? I'm tearing up inside. Sorry, Quandi, mate. Don't worry. We're back now, innit? We're back. So that means that as long as you put us on in the background, we're gonna get an invincible year. There you go. We'll get that Gold Premier League trophy. Another record done. Oliver Wilson with a 15 months. Yes, Oliver Wilson. He says, yes, ready for Burnley. Let's start the season well. Come on, City. Yeah, obviously the big game this weekend. Against Burnley, opening the Premier League season on a Friday, which always stinks. The Friday game stinks. Didn't Arsenal lose to Brentford last year, 2-0 or something? Or was that the season before?
That was
the season before. And then they played again this year on the Friday. And I can't remember, was it Crystal Palace and lost? I can't remember.
They beat Palace.
Did they beat them? Anyway, the Friday game for me, that's just what I'm like. How I hate 12:30 kickoffs. It stinks of that. But
I'm buzzing for it though. I'm just buzzing to see the boys back.
I back it, and we get to see Burnley as well on a reg, which is mint.
Yeah, it's an exciting fixture first.
Yeah, Angel with a 31 months. Yes, Angel with a controversial comment here. He says Kovacic is not good enough to start. We might as well throw on JSGC at that point. I horrendously disagree. Like I massively disagree with that. I thought Kovacic looked incredible in the time that he played on that pitch.
Yeah,
in fact,
L take.
Yeah, it is an L take. It's a massive L take. I feel like he looked one of the sharpest players on the pitch for us.
I mean, that's not me saying that Jason couldn't do a job in midfield. Yeah, but I'd probably pick Kovacic over him for now anyway.
Slims, just on a little bit though, isn't it? Like,
I thought
he can't even do kick-ups, man. He don't get in a team. He's on the bench with me.
Nah, he's saving it, man. He's saving it. He's playing poker face, bluff.
Yeah, he's gonna get to one. Yeah, he's hoping we call his bluff, innit? And then
Kovacic was arguably our best player yesterday. Over the course of the whole game, like I thought he was absolutely class, and we've been saying this for ages, and we said it on one of our watch-alongs we did. I think it was the 3-man one during preseason that Kovacic doesn't have that one season pass. He doesn't have that betting in period. You need to come in and show your qualities now, and he is. He was dictating flow of play yesterday. He was knocking balls around. He was trying to be a spark of creativity. He was trying to thread balls through for Haaland. He was trying to thread balls through for wingers. Granted, none of them fully came off, but you can see what he's about, and you can see what Kovacic is going to bring. If this is Kovacic after 6-7 weeks at City, I'm pretty excited to see how he looks after 6 months, because Pep is going to get the best out of Kovacic. Pep is going to make Kovacic an even better player. Like, you think about it, if he adds even a few goals to his game, that's his weakest point, goal getting Kovacic. We're on to a pretty good player. He already is a pretty good player, but we're on to a top player. So give Kovacic more time, and he was class yesterday. So I'll take.
I agree. Katie in the chat there said Kovacic doesn't even look like a new signing, and it's right. He didn't look like a new signing. Like, when you look at him, like, too, it's still weird for me seeing Kovacic in a City shirt. It still feels like a Chelsea player. So I was a bit like, oh, this is weird. Going to take a bit to get used to on that. But the actual, his gameplay, he just fitted in straight away, which I think was meant. The only issue that I can kind of see, again, which is something that we spoke about a minute ago, is it's lacking in the creativity side, which is where it could hinder us this season. And obviously, we have been linked with players like Florian Wirtz, who can play in the mid, but we'll have to see the way that City move in the window. We are looking like we're going to be trying to sign one other player. Darcy with a 5. Yes, Darcy. He says, best part of the Gvardiol signing is the beard he brings. Puts Hugh to shame.
He does, man. He does.
I mean,
Manscaped are giving him something different to me, because they fucked my one up.
Yo, you can't be saying that. This stream's not sponsored by Manscaped. You can say what you want. They fucked me up last time. Nah, user error.
Nah, it was my own fault. I apologize, Manscaped. I put the wrong setting on, and I chopped my whole beard off. I had a strong, luscious beard game.
You did.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, let me run a Blade 3 over it. I'll just trim it up. Nah, took the whole thing off. And I checked the setting. I was like, oh, fuck, I've put a Blade 0.5 on it.
Yeah, so for people who are wondering, that Manscaped have just released their new beard hedger. You can get that. You can use codes extra 20 for 20% off and free international shipping. This is even sponsored by Manscaped, but you can do that. But yeah, Hugh used it wrong. I remember when I first seen you afterwards, and you was like, I used the new beard trimmer, and I was like, oh, that's what's happened to you.
I used it.
Yeah, you got the full effect out of it.
I experienced the hedger. It hedged.
It hedged. It hedged good, man. Yes, Darcy, appreciate the super chat, mate. Anthony with the 2 super chats. First with the $2, he says, we need to make another 2 more signings, right wing and a centre mid. I think you'll probably see one more signing, either or, basically, centre mid or right wing. Or maybe someone who can do both. And Anthony again with the $5 says, Gaelic football and Aussie rules football are a similar sports. I've actually never seen either.
They're similar. The Gaelic football pitch is like twice the size of a a regular football pitch, first of all, and an Aussie rules pitch is actually oval shaped. It's not in like
Is it?
square. Yeah, it's oval shaped.
Mad. Yeah, that's
cool
pretty
sports
mad.
though.
Kate in the chat has just put, "What do you think about the Gvardiol intro video?" I thought it was a great announcement video, like Pep putting Gvardiol and then just rubbing the U out, and then the A. I think that's sick.
And they're using FG for loads of it as well
FG because everyone keeps calling FG Gvardiol, don't they?
FG was in my plane tracking stream the other day. For Gvardiol landing, he's buzzing for it as well. So
yeah,
I thought it was sick, man.
I thought he's got a signed shirt and everything off him already.
Bro, FG's part of the squad.
Yeah, he's
they all love FG.
Yeah,
did you see the clip of De Bruyne saying to FG, "Oh, you finally signed"?
Yeah, did it? I didn't see that. No, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah, De Bruyne.
They all know. That's the best thing. They all know, innit, that he looks like Gvardiol.
De Bruyne, Haaland, and Grealish are all walking out to training from the building out to the pitch, and FG standing there for probably doing media work or whatever. And De Bruyne goes, "Oh, you finally signed."
That is funny.
It's jokes. It's sick.
Legit. FG is a solid guy as well. Like, big up to FG.
Legend, man. Legend.
Ty's stepbro with a 2 says, "What a 50p shield for Arsenal." Yes, Ty, mate. Italian Stein with a 10 says, "The added time can work both ways. If City are winning, then it won't be in our favour. But imagine we're losing the game, we get 10 minutes, plus players will be mentally and physically, I guess, drained by the end of the season." That's another thing. It does add on, especially when we've got all these games. If we're running all this added time on, it makes the games, do you know what I mean, a lot longer than what they have been in previous years. So,
well, player welfare has never been a priority for football authorities. You know what I mean? Like, they play 60-odd club games a season. Then they usually go into either an international series or an international competition. They're playing all year round. Like, they only probably really get like 2 weeks to themselves a year. Like, player welfare doesn't matter at all. So this ain't new. This ain't new.
Yeah, and people in the chat, Twine Rope there says, "We're not getting 10 minutes if we're losing, we're getting 1 minute added on if we're down." And then Tone there says 1-0 will be long. And that is true, that if we're winning 1-0. Just like yesterday, really. But imagine that in a high pressure game. I mean, that's gonna stink. That's gonna stink.
Yo, we're only on 200 and something likes, and there's 650 odd people.
Yeah, that is a crime. That only 50% of the people in here are hitting that like button. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You need to smash that like button, innit? And the more likes we get, the more chances are that we don't miss the Burnley game. I know you're all crying about us missing the game at the weekend. Slacking, Beyond Belief says there. Yeah, you're slacking it like we was. Joe Griffiths with a 2 says, "Why do they overcomplicate the rules every season? They do always try and bring in like new rules every year. Howard Webb's the lead guy of the referee thing, isn't it? They try and bring in new, They try and bring in new rules to implement, and then it's weird because like halfway through the season, you kind of see them all get abandoned. Like, they just kind of bin things off. I'd be interested to see how far this added time thing goes, or if they stick to it as strict as they did against Arsenal." Brendan Silva with the 5 says, "Trash added time, but City will draw/win games because of it. Be careful what they wish for. Got to give Arsenal something to celebrate. Come on, City." Yes.
Fairs.
So we've had our kind of say on the Community Shield. We can speak about Gvardiol a little bit. I guess a bit quick because we've had so many Gvardiol streams. Like, me and Hugh were waking up like with Gvardiol stream coming out of our ears, man. Like, because it was just Gvardiol. Every day was just Gvardiol. So now that chapter is closed, we've got him. Do you think there's any chance of him playing against Burnley?
Yeah, I think there is. I don't know about starting, but he's fit, man. He's fit. He's done preseason with Leipzig. He'll have been training with Leipzig. He'll get a full week's training now with City. I would say he'll feature. It probably depends a little bit on the flow of the game. You know, what Pep's happy with and what's going on during the game. Is it a tight game? Do you bring him on? Is it fair to throw him on in a tight game? Or will I say he's got the mentality for a throw him straight in? So I think he could feature. I'm buzzing though. I'm just buzzing he's in the door. I'm just buzzing that we have the player now and he's at our disposal, because we've spoke endless times about how big of a prospect he is and the potential he has to and what he can grow into being. So I'm just excited. Like, I'm not too worried about rushing him in, and he needs to hit the ground running. I think he will be very good from the beginning, but I'm just buzzing we have him.
Yeah, I'm gassed that we got him. I'm prepared to give him time as well because I think he will do well at City. I'm kind of just like I'm impatient to see him. Like I kind of just want to see him like straight away and see how he does. But we'll have to wait and see if he does get any minutes against Burnley. It'd be interesting if he started. That'd be big. That from Pep to just throw him straight in.
I'd be excited to see that.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I'm game to see it, but I'll understand if that's not the plan that Pep wants. I mean, he is going to have to do a fair bit of learning, Gvardiol. You know, like to adapt to a Pep Guardiola Man City system, it does take quite a bit of time, as we've seen with plenty of our top players over the years. Mahrez took time, Bernardo took time, Grealish, you know, very famously took time. So if Gvardiol needs a bit of time, we'll stand with him. But I'm just buzzing that he's here. I'm so excited now.
Same, gassed. And then for this stream, obviously a lot of people want to talk about transfers and stuff like that. Now we'll get on to Bernardo Silva in a second, but I think a good way to go from this, so there's a big ass fly in here. A good way to go from that is the Laporte situation's a weird one, isn't it? Like obviously because now we have Gvardiol, but there's still no real move on Laporte. Like it's because for me, I can't see us going into the season with Laporte.
Yeah, I mean, I saw something this morning saying that City are willing to kind of semi-facilitate him and you know, take a lower fee than they would really like for Laporte just to let him go. I saw that if it gets to panic stations at the end of the transfer window and they do really want them out, Bilbao is there as an option. You know, he'd go back to his old club. So, I mean, I have no issue with him staying. I'm a big fan of Laporte, but I just don't see where he gets.
Yeah, I just feel like he should be playing regular football.
For him, like I'd want the best for him in this situation, and I think he obviously deserves a Champions League club. Bilbao ain't the Champions League club. I think they came 7th or 8th in La Liga last year, so that's not Champions League. He's too young to go and play for a mid-table team. He's too young to go and play for a Europa League team when he's good enough to play Champions League. So it is tricky, man.
It's mad because he should be at a Champions League team. He should be walking into a Champions League team. I thought there'd be a queue out the door for Laporte, but there ain't.
I was speaking to, maybe it was Grizz or another Liverpool fan, and he kind of said that if there wasn't that rivalry between City and Liverpool would snap him up straight away. He's a Liverpool type player. He's a Klopp type centre half. Like he's an obvious replacement for someone like Matip, who they don't feel is good enough to play for Liverpool anymore. But City won't do that. City ain't allowing Laporte to go to Liverpool, so it's got to be abroad. And as we know, the continental clubs, not many of them have big cash right now. So, it's a mess.
It is a bit of a mess. Obviously, Cancelo didn't feature at all in the squad against Arsenal in the Community Shield. And there's heavy rumours about him agreeing personal terms with Barcelona. So we could see Cancelo on the move.
Cancelo to Barcelona is the perfect move for him stylistically.
And it's something that we've all seen anyway. We've all kind of said if that offer came in from Barca, City get rid. I seen actually there was a rumor yesterday about a bid from Barca of 70 million. Basically, they want to loan Bernardo and Cancelo for the season, but with a mandatory buy option of 70 million for both.
70 million each, or 70 million altogether?
70 million, like all in.
Nah,
City ain't gonna accept that. City want more than 70 million for Bernardo alone.
That's cheeky as fuck, that from Barca, mate. I said it in the video last week, mate. They're fishing in a pond that they don't have the facilities for right now, Barca. They don't have the financial power to acquire the players that they feel they should be able to acquire. They can't afford Bernardo Silva. We've made it clear that he's not for sale, and the only way he would go is if a big financial offer came in that simply we couldn't refuse. Barca don't have that juice. So that's cheeky. Yeah, that's cheeky, man.
Like I say, just rumours that I seen yesterday, but if that is a legit thing, then that is dead. That is dead. And plus, City ain't going to accept that. And on that, good transition to Bernardo Silva, because City are like full sending, we ain't selling Bernardo Silva, and ready to offer him a new contract. Which is good. Wild. Because I just seen Freddie Piper in the chat. Generally didn't ask, I want hot ones.
You gotta do it, Freddie, man. You gotta join us.
Yeah, you gotta do it, Freddie.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so the Bernardo situation is pretty mad, really, because I thought, or I'd seen throughout like the past few months, is that City had already an offer on the table for Bernardo Silva, but it looks like City are basically going to be like, nah, here's a mega offer to stay. It's very clear how much Pep rates him. and we want to keep him because every club that's coming towards us to try and put a bid in, City just straight up refusing it and saying, nah, mate. So I think
Good Freddie said.
you know my ability to KFC hot wings, I'd be in A&E. Yeah, Freddie, you know what I mean? If he dies, innit? You got to do it for the content. You got to do it for the content, Freddie.
Do it for the people.
Yeah, do the people want to see it, Freddie, so you got to commit. You got to commit. If that means that you die, then we'll just have to assign the City to Twitter to someone else, innit? At least you died doing what you love, innit? Content. Yeah, so the Bernardo situation is a bit of a weird one, but I'd like to think now that we're in August, I don't see him going anywhere. I'm full sending Bernardo stays at City, and I think he could sign a new contract.
I think there's so many variables to this, and this is the right conclusion. The first one alone that we spoke about so much over the summer is, I think allowing Gundogan, Mahrez, there was potentially Walker at one stage, but that's another situation. Even Gundogan, Mahrez, and Bernardo all to leave in one summer, it's simply too much. It's simply too much. Whatever about attempting to replace the quality of those players, you will not replace the experience and know-how and understanding of our club's values and Pep's system with ease. It won't. It's too much of a transition to undergo once. And then there was Mason Mount went to United for 65. Declan Rice went to Arsenal for 105. And City went, yeah. But if Bernardo, if those players are going for these kind of numbers, Bernardo's streets ahead of Mason Mount. He's a good bit better than Declan Rice too. So, that's the kind of money we want. I like the stance City have taken now on Bernardo Silva. And it's also too late in the day. I think it has to be that he's not for sale anymore. Because what do we do?
We're so close to the new season, and we're already looking at a new winger as is, and that's without Bernardo leaving. So I'm personally not ready for City to just let go of Bernardo Silva like that. And hopefully he stays, man. And I think, and hopefully he signs a new contract. Maybe there's a bit of convincing, and maybe City could be like, yo, just sign another deal, then go straight to Benfica from here.
I don't see why he'd even say no to that. I think he has to give up on this dream of playing for Barcelona, because Barcelona aren't the club that you grew up knowing, Bernardo. Do you know what I mean? They're not the club. They're not the team that had that same juice that they used to. So I think he could be convinced. I don't think he's actually as desperate to leave as we always thought. I think, he was showing interest and he'd like to try something new, but he never pushed really hard, did he? There was never a transfer request. There was never a breakdown in relationship. There was never, skipping training. It was always kind of like, if it comes, happy days. But
yeah,
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we'll be sound. Obviously, Bernardo, I was speaking about that. Outgoing players wise, I only see probably Laporte and Cancelo leaving outgoing. And I think Walker stays now. I think Walker, to be honest, will be our captain for the season going forward as well. I think everyone thought it'd be Kevin De Bruyne, but I think Walker will be it.
Well, Pep said it. Pep said he
is our captain. Yeah, so there you go. I think Walker ends up staying. In 10 with the 2 there says that we linked with anyone else. We are linked with. I've seen links over the weekend anyway to Mitoma. Now that's something that I'd like that. I could get behind that. A Mitoma deal. I think it'd be decent. Now, chat and you here. Has he ever played right wing? Have you ever seen him play on the right? Because I don't think I've ever seen him play on the right. I've only seen him play on the left.
What age is Mitoma? 23?
26.
Oh, is he?
Yes, because what Mitoma had an option to come to the Prem, I think, or to just get a full-time professional football contract, but he rejected it to finish his university career, a university degree, and then he came to the Prem to play football.
Nah, he's an out and out left winger, but the thing with Mitoma is he's both footed. He's what's the word? Ambidextrous. He can use both feet, so maybe he could be deployed on the right. But even if you brought him in as a left winger, I think it would be good competition for Jack Grealish. To have Mitoma there. You could use Phil Foden as a midfielder and a right-sided winger, so you'd have more balance. You'd have Jack Grealish, Mitoma.
Yeah, because you can play Mitoma left and right. You can play Foden left, right, and midfield, and you can play Jack Grealish on the left, and then you can play Bernardo on the right and midfield.
Exactly.
And you've got players like Cole Palmer still around if they end up staying. Now, this is another thing, because obviously Cole Palmer scored a worldie yesterday, very Mahrez-esque, do you know what I mean, cutting in on the left. And the thing is, Is that enough for you to want Palmer to stay? A lot of people have been like, he's a good piece to use for like a Mitoma deal, because Brighton want Palmer. Send Palmer to Brighton. We take Mitoma. Obviously, we'll be giving him cash, like, I mean, probably like 60 mil or something.
I was asked the exact same question on the City Report podcast yesterday. I went on that with Amos, big up the City Report podcast, and we had a good chat about Cole Palmer. And I've always been a big fan of Palmer, and I want to keep Cole Palmer. I think I understand people's frustrations with him last season, that, you know, he never really took us by storm, or he never blew us away. But the thing with Cole Palmer is you have to understand he's a right winger. I know we always talk about, you know, players being versatile, and we have great pride in the versatility of our attacking players.
Yeah, some players
Unfortunately, with Cole Palmer, he's like Riyad Mahrez. He has to play right wing. You want the best out of Cole Palmer, he has to play right wing. For those of you who are subscribers of the City Plus, the City TV, whatever it is, they show all the EDS games for free on that, so you get to watch them there. And I watched them for years. I watched Cole Palmer at underage. I watched him at EDS. He was always a right winger. Sometimes he played in the 10, but he was always a right winger, and he cooked on right wing for years, slamming goals, you know, cutting in, really Mahrez-esque. So I just think with time and on the right wing, Cole Palmer could develop into a Mahrez-esque player. I think it's too unfair to write him off based on the few cameos he had last season playing as a left winger, where he's totally out of his comfort zone. I'm a big fan of Cole Palmer, and I want Cole Palmer to stay. We could have played 200 minutes of football yesterday and we wouldn't have scored. But Cole Palmer had that moment of magic in him that, say, Riyad Mahrez would have done.
Yeah, I rate that. I'd like it if Palmer stayed. And even if we do sign Mitoma, that doesn't mean that there's no place for Cole Palmer, because, like you say, like Mitoma would offer good competition for Grealish on that left hand side and offer something different to what we've got currently. And like you said, the versatility of all these players that we've got, I think having Palmer in there, it just helps. Helps. I mean, a bit of squad depth. I like it. I'm
here for it.
If we went to sign Mitoma, say Laporte and Cancelo leave, which I think everyone would be fine with if they left anyway, and we sign Mitoma, are you happy with business then?
Yeah, I am. I am happy at that stage. I think our defense was already pretty solid before Gvardiol, but bringing in Gvardiol now, it's solid as fuck. Like, that's a bad boy defense we have now. I think the midfield, I feel good about. Rodri, Kovacic. You've still got Phillips there. Big question mark over him, but that's one of those ones time will tell. You got De Bruyne, Bernardo, Foden, and then the wings, you've got Bernardo, Foden, Grealish, Palmer, bring in Mitoma, got Alvarez, Haaland. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I mean, would you not?
Do you have any concern with creativity? And I've seen a few people saying it in the chat already. Do you have any concern with that? Because obviously with Kev, we know Kev can get injuries, pick up injuries throughout the season. We've seen Foden play the mid. Look good. He should have scored yesterday to make it 2-0.
Foden's super creative. Foden is a super, super creative player, and given time in the midfield, he's only going to get more and more creative. He's a hybrid Foden of all of the best players we've had over the last 5-6 years. We always said he's going to be the David Silva replacement. No. He's a mixture now of De Bruyne. He's a mixture of Silva.
He's sponged up all the talents of all these players.
Exactly. So, I mean, where's the lacking in creativity coming from? Who have we lost? We've lost Mahrez and Gundo. Would you say that they were two massive creative sparks?
I think Gundo's a creative spark. And Mahrez gets the numbers, man. He does get the numbers, so...
I think Gundo's a creative spark, but I don't think... I think with Foden in the midfield, that can be replaced. I think Kovacic will grow into being more creative too, that he has the better players around him and playing under Pep Guardiola. So I'm not worried about creativity based off the first half yesterday. I think we'll find our rhythm.
Yeah. Like I say, we have... I can see the concerns with losing out on Mahrez and Gundogan. I can see the concerns, especially yesterday didn't really settle people in terms of the creative loss that we've had. However, like you say, give it time. We'll get into our rhythm, find what works. If we can get a pacey winger like Mitoma, I think I'd be happy. Now, I do kind of see us only going with one more transfer. I like a lot of people saying about Wirtz, and we have been linked with Florian Wirtz over the past couple of days. However, I kind of only see it as a Wirtz or Mitoma, because I think City are basically going to go with midfield, sign a midfielder or sign a winger. So we could swerve Mitoma and keep Cole Palmer and be like, well, we've got Cole Palmer in there who could play right wing. We've got Bernardo in there who could play right wing. We've got Phil Foden in there who could play right wing. However, midfield-wise, we've got Foden who can play in the mid who's creative. We've got Kevin De Bruyne who can play in the mid who's creative. Bernardo Silva can play in the mid, but doesn't really get the numbers creative-wise. We could go and get someone like a Florian Wirtz instead of a Mitoma. I only see us moving for one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know a huge amount about Florian Wirtz. I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched a huge amount of him, but a lot of people in the chat seem to rate him. So
yeah,
I'm happy to look into that. But I think I agree that Gundo was a massive creative outlet, and Mahrez was a goal getter. But when you lose those players, it's now up to the players like your Fodens and De Bruyne's and Bernardo's to fill that void. They need to step up. Yeah, they need to step up and fill that void. It's not just a case of we need to go out and outsource a creative replacement, because we already have. These are world-class players we're talking about. These are players that you can't just write off and say, well, they're not creative, so we need to go and get someone else. They need to be able to step in and pick up some of what was left behind with Ilkay Gundogan. So I don't know. With Wirtz, like I said, don't know a huge amount about him. Mitoma is creative. So
yeah, I'd be interested to see if Mitoma did come, if we would play him on the right hand side. Like we say, we're predominantly seeing him as a left winger. He is just a left winger. He doesn't play right wing, but he is right footed.
Mm-hmm.
So City might just be like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to throw you on the other side. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Pep to just change his position.
I think he got 7 goals last year, Mitoma, and his finishing was a bit lackluster.
It was suspect at times. Do you remember the United game? Did you watch that one? Brighton versus United, and he had so many chances, man. Like, he's just like, what's going on?
But I'd like to think that under Pep, once again, I always say any player Pep gets, he's going to make him at least 20% better, and he'll have to improve on his finishing. But I'd be open to it, man. I'd definitely be up for Mitoma. But Brighton, they play hardball. What's the guy called again? Is it Tony Bloom? Is that the guy?
I have no idea what the guy's called. I know you're about, yeah.
The Brighton sporting director or owner. Apparently he's hardball. He's like Daniel Levy. Like arguing with him is
I mean, look when we tried to sign I mean, fair play to him. He knows what he's doing, because we tried to sign Cucurella for what, like 30 mil, 35 mil. I think the maximum bid was around 35 mil that we put in. Yet Chelsea went with a £60 million bid for him. So he knows what he's doing. He knows how to play hardball and get the money from these players. For these players. I just think we'll have to pay cash for Mitoma. I think you're going to be paying around 60 mil minimum.
Yeah, I could see 60 mil from Mitoma. How long has he got left in his contract?
2 years though. There is only 2 years left on his contract.
Right.
But you just still gonna have to pay cash, man. It's just Brighton. You just have to pay cash.
I mean, they're in European football and European competition this year as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they won't want to lose all their best assets, at least on the cheap. They're expecting to lose Caicedo.
Didn't they play the Europa League anthem after the season finished?
Yeah. We were there for that, weren't we? We played away that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Great, man. Italian Stallion, yes, with a $10, yes, big man. He says, Matteo Moretto said today that everything is now pointing towards Bernardo Silva staying at City and renewing. So let's see if he signs the contract. By the way, anything to read about Pep's dinner with Walker? Like we said before about Bernardo, hopefully he does stay and renew. Obviously, it's a waiting game now to see if he signs the contract, but I would not be letting him go. Even if he doesn't renew, man, I'm not letting him go.
Yeah,
it's too late.
I agree.
It's too late. And Pep's dinner with Walker is, I think it's a good thing, mate.
Yeah,
I think in that dinner as well. I reckon Pep's gone, you're my captain for this season if you stay.
And I'd say I think he said yeah.
And I think Walker's gone, yes, I will captain this side.
Did you see Walker celebrating when Palmer scored the goal?
Yeah, he loved it. He was gassed. A bit too much. He added on too much time at the end. Too much celebration.
And they shared a bottle of wine, whatever it was, had a nice bit of scran, said, you're the skipper now, mate. Let's go and do it again.
Yeah.
It is too late in the day. I know, like all jokes aside, it's too late in the day to be allowing players of the importance levels of Bernardo and Kyle Walker to just be leaving.
Yeah, fact.
No.
Fact.
No,
they're too vital to the way that we play. Exactly. And obviously, like the captain side of Walker is in the experience that these players have got. You can't replace the experience that they've got in the City side and the Pep side.
How do you feel about Walker being captain? Maybe put a poll in the chat as well. Good thing,
Yeah,
bad thing.
that's a good one. That I don't mind it. He's a passion merchant Walker, isn't he? Loves it. And clearly Pep trusts him. He's been a part of that captain side from the start. So clearly Pep trusts him in that side. So I'm fine for it.
I think it's a good thing. I think you could definitely argue there's an argument there for De Bruyne to feel let down that he's not been given it, or even Ruben Diaz to an extent too. But with Walker, like, he's one of these players that anybody in the dressing room looking for inspiration or motivation look to Kyle Walker. The guy's farmed trophies for years. He's won everything there, and he's been integral to it. So you just have to look at him and go, he's the benchmark. This is what I want to be. So any new players coming in, Gvardiol, I don't know, Mitoma, young players coming through the academy, you look at Kyle Walker and go, this is what I want to be like. So just having him around, give him the leadership role, the captain's armband, it's only a good thing for me. I'm happy with it.
Maybe in the chat says Walker can be captain. Just needs to keep his mini Walker in his pants, which is very true. Very true. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what Pep said to him. Maybe Pep took him out on that dinner to show him how to act in public.
This is decorum, mate.
Yeah.
This
is how you do it. Don't get your knob out.
So see when you're drinking alcohol, keep your zipper closed.
Every so often, Walker's like, oh, and then Pep's like, no. He's like, we don't do that. he's like, he's like, whoa, ready to go. He's like, no. He's like, this is how we do it here. Potential, innit? Ty Stepbro with a 2 says Foden's goal scoring has gone down. Time to worry? ? I don't worry. I don't think it's a time to worry for Foden. I think he's gonna have a good year as well. Benno with a 2 says thoughts on the game yesterday. I was there. It was poor. I think we controlled the game a lot. We just didn't create too much. Arsenal did get back into it for quite a few periods at a time, and they looked. The thing is, Arsenal looked more dangerous. That's my only issue. Yeah. We looked like we're in a lot of control, which is fine. But it's just they.
But we've had this problem before. We've had this problem before last season. Before we went on that big run, we were having all the ball in games, but doing fuck all with it. Remember that Tottenham away, United away, and these kind of games. We had all possession, but we just didn't. It just what the wheel wasn't turning going forward the way it would. So you just have to have faith that it will click and Pep will get it right. Yeah. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I like I say it is a pre-season game. Like Pep did call it the first final of the season, because it technically is. But like I say, it is still very much a pre-season game. Like
he killed us doing that, Pep. He shouldn't have said the word final. Yeah. Now all the Arsenal fans are like, your manager said it's the final.
Yeah. But we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. I don't worry about the season going forward based on that game. I think we'll be right at it. MMC, mate. Not reading it out, mate. Not a thing. I've been done with that before, yeah. I've been done with that before, and then I got cancelled in it, so it's not happening, mate. I appreciate the £2.
What is it?
Don't read it out. Don't read it out.
Who's it from?
MMC with a £2. Would you rather watch a tree grow?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
no.
Don't read it out. Loads of people know that now. But I genuinely got done with that last time. Sky's the limit with a 2 says Pep said next bar we get to get your knob out. Yeah, next one. It just never takes into that next one. You said it in your mind though, JP. Cancelled. Kajiro, quiet mate. Jit with a 5 says, going forward, we need to have Foden and Kev in the mid. Completely change the game. Foden has this special spark about him. It's his season. I generally think Foden's going to have a really good year this year, especially if he plays more in the midfield. It's exciting, man. He like Jit says there, he does have that spark. He looked good yesterday. He did that turn yesterday.
Yeah, the turn was. He sent Parry to the shops for a bag of Starburst. That was unreal. What's your ideal midfield then? Rodri, De Bruyne, Foden?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's difficult.
Where's man like Kovacic fit in there? Do you know what I mean?
Because then, like, my head kind of goes Rodri, De Bruyne, Cover doing like the Gundo role, and hope that he can offer like more assists and a bit more creativity going forward if we push him a bit further forward.
It kind of depends on the game, though, doesn't it?
And I think it depends on how much like we think they're gonna. If they're gonna sit behind the ball, we could do with like a Foden.
It's like last season when we were doing previews and predicted 11s. It was like you're going Rodri, De Bruyne, and one of Gundogan, Bernardo, depending on what you want and who you're playing against. So it'll be Rodri, De Bruyne, Foden, one of Foden or Kovacic. I'm happy with either, depending on who we're playing.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it might be telling on against Burnley. See what I go on. Doctical Prodigal Fraud Daddy, yes, with the 200 says we need more creators, not just Foden and KDB. Mahrez was a creator as well. Check the stats. Yeah, he was, not just Gundo. Gundo was also a creator. Kovacic, Bernardo, Grealish doesn't suddenly become creators overnight, mate. Injury to Foden or KDB is season ending. I don't go full season ending mode because it's not even started yet. But I do think an injury to KDB or Foden, it's definitely a worry for us. And maybe that's what we're looking at. Pep did say more signings with an S on the end.
I think Bernardo's going to be a creative spark this year more so than he has been before.
Yeah, I hope so.
You know, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's been your weekend roundup, man. Like I say, apologies again for missing out on the Community Shield yesterday. We did watch the game. We just couldn't stream it. Busy times ahead, planning ahead for the new season and stuff. Just a little freshen up. That was our pre-season. That was our little gap, a little break for City Extra, and now we can hit it again and go back at it every day from now forward. So we appreciate the patience. We're sorry that you had to watch the game by yourselves, or without our presence. But yeah, is there anything else that you've seen over the weekend, bro, that you want to talk about?
Nah, we're gonna win it all, mate. Don't worry, people.
I'm gassed. Any stream tonight? Cade says we'll have a stream probably around 8:00 tonight. We'll see what news we can conjure up and see what go on with transfers and that. Maybe we have a little bit of a transfer stream. Obviously, we spoke about transfers on this, but we can like deep dive into some players like maybe wingers and creative midfielders. But big up everyone who liked the stream. 424 likes and 658 people. This is just like broken, man. Y'all need to be liking this stream more. We're working hard at it. We're hard workers.
Yeah, man. Get it to 500 likes.
Yeah.
Definitely 500.
500 likes is needed. 500 likes is needed by the end of the stream. There's 433 people have liked it now.
I'm sitting here in silence until you hit 500.
We will sit here in pure silence until we get to 500 likes. You know people ain't going to do it, don't it? They were like, how long can we get these two dickheads to sit here for? That's what people do. It's like reverse psychology, man.
Just hit 500. It is 500.
Yeah, y'all need to just like the stream, innit? Silence would make the stream better, I can't lie. Craig. Right, appreciate you all, and we'll see you all later on about 8:00. Yeah, see you in a bit.
Buzzing.